If you're a nonprofit leader, listen up, because the entire fundraising playbook has been rewritten. What started out as a temporary pivot to virtual events is now, without a doubt, a permanent and way more powerful strategy. Today, we're going to dive into the consultant's guide for creating virtual events that don't just happen online. They raise real money.
Okay, let's just jump right in with the number that changes everything, 60%. That's the average cost reduction when you go virtual instead of in person. Think about that for a second. No venue fees, no catering bills, no paying for parking. That is pure profit that goes right back into your mission from the get-go.
And it just gets better from there. While your costs are dropping like a rock, your potential audience is absolutely exploding. I mean, we are talking about a 5 to 10 times expansion of who you can reach. All of a sudden, your supporters aren't limited by where they live. Someone in another state or, heck, another country can come to your gala. The physical barriers, they're just gone. So here's the deal, and this is probably the most important takeaway. We all need a major mindset shift. Virtual events are not the backup plan anymore. They're not what you do when you can't meet in person. When you do them right, when you execute them professionally, they are a core, permanent, and honestly often a superior tool for fundraising and growth. All right, so once you've got that new mindset, what actually happens? What are the real advantages here? Let's break down exactly why going digital can do so much more for your mission. You know, what's so cool about these 4 points is that they're not separate things. They feed into each other, creating this amazing positive cycle. First, you lower the barriers to attend, which means more people can show up. Then, the better cost structure means you keep more of every single dollar raised. You can also measure exactly what worked, so you can make the next one even better. And because it's so easy and convenient, people are way more likely to come back again and again. It's a win-win-win-win. But hold on, virtual event is, well, it's a huge category, right? Real success isn't about just pointing a webcam at your usual gala and hoping for the best. It's all about strategically picking a format that really clicks with your community and, most importantly, serves your mission. Just take a look at the options here. The range is incredible. On one end, you've got these high-revenue auctions for donors with, deep pockets. But on the other, you have things like Skillshare workshops that build this amazing sense of community. The big idea here isn't just to look at that revenue column and pick the biggest number. It's to ask, what kind of experience does our community actually want? A packaged dinner, for example, is super engaging and works for almost any nonprofit out there.
Okay, so you've got your perfect format picked out. Awesome. Now what?
Well, now we get into the nitty-gritty. This is the blueprint that turns a great idea into a smoothly run, money-making success.
You know, a great virtual event, it feels effortless, but the truth is, it doesn't just happen. It's all about the planning. This timeline is your roadmap. And notice how much of the heavy lifting happens before the event even starts. Nailing down your main draw, whether it's a speaker or performer, 6 to 8 weeks out is absolutely critical. Then you build that momentum. And hey, the work isn't done when the live stream ends. That 24-hour follow-up window is your golden opportunity to really lock in those donor relationships. So let's drill down on that registration phase for a second. Tiered pricing. Honestly, this might be one of the most powerful tools you have. Instead of just one ticket price, you offer a few options. Maybe a general admission, then a VIP ticket with a private Q&A, and maybe even a corporate sponsorship level. It lets people give at a level that feels right for them, which can totally transform your average revenue per person. Okay, let's stop talking theory and look at some real numbers. Let's do some quick back-of-the-napkin math for a virtual dinner with 150 attendees. Your total costs are hovering around $5,000. But between tickets, a small auction, and some direct donations, you bring in $13,000. That leaves you with a net profit of $7,700. The numbers are simple, but man, are they powerful. Okay, now this is where it gets really dramatic. Look at this comparison. That very same event, held in person, after you pay for a venue, expensive catering, all of it, would probably only clear about $2,000. This chart just says it all. You're looking at nearly 4 times the profit for the exact same number of people with way less logistical headache. That's the power of this model. Of course, none of this matters if you don't actually ask for donations. But there's an art to it, right? You want it to feel natural, not aggressive. The best way to do it is with 3 or 4 asks woven into the event. You start simple, just displaying the text to give info on screen. Then you tie an ask to a specific program. The big ask comes right at the peak emotional moment of your presentation, and you close it out with a final urgent call to action.
It feels purposeful, not pushy. All right, knowing what to do is great, but honestly, knowing what not to do is just as important. So let's switch gears and talk about the big mistakes to avoid. Think of this as some insider advice to help you sidestep the common traps that can sink an otherwise great event. Seriously, I want you to just let this quote sink in for a second. Boring is worse than being asked for money. People show up for your mission, sure, but they stay for the experience. If your event is a snooze fest, you've lost them, and you've definitely lost their donation. Engagement isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. And this right here, this is probably the number one single biggest mistake we see organizations make. You cannot, I repeat, cannot just replicate your in-person gala on a screen and expect it to work. An in-person event has mingling, it has atmosphere. A virtual event needs its own unique rhythm and pacing, with moments of engagement designed specifically for an audience that's watching on a screen. So here it is, your essential do not list. Think of this as your checklist of event killers to watch out for. First, don't underproduce. Good lighting and clear audio signal that you're professional and trustworthy. Second, don't overask. Stick to that 3 to 4 rule we talked about. Third, absolutely do not ignore the tech. Test everything, and please have a backup plan. And finally, remember that all the fancy tech in the world can't save a boring program. Always, always put engagement first. Okay, wow. We've covered a lot, right? The why, the what, the how, and just as importantly, the what not to do. So let's bring it all home and wrap up with the most important ideas you need to carry into your next event. All right, this is it, your final checklist. If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 things. 1, accept it. Virtual events are a permanent part of your strategy. 2, production quality is not a luxury. It directly impacts how much you raise because it shows you're a competent organization people can trust. 3, focus on choosing the right format for your audience. That is so much more important than the specific tech platform you use. And 4, embrace those higher profit margins. That's not just money, that's fuel for your mission. So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. A question, really. Let's forget about planning some huge, massive gala for a minute. Just based on what we've talked about today, what is one tiny, manageable step you can take tomorrow to start putting this powerful strategy into practice for your organization?